the studies show that women-led businesses are 1.5 times more likely to succeed beyond 5 years compared to men because of the women's ability to be resilient and adapt in face of challenges. Now, listen, women are growing businesses rapidly. Women are leading the trail, yet we still have a lot of different challenges and things that we have to overcome because, as women entrepreneurs, you're either running the business, you're leading a home, you're leading so many other things. You're juggling so much, yet being adaptable, being resilient is so important. So today we're going to talk about 3 ways that you can definitely grow as an entrepreneur and expand and excel and build your resilience so that you can expand your business as well. So tune in, we're going to talk about those 3 ways. So let's talk about what resilience is, because the word is thrown around a lot, but it's really understanding what does it mean and how does it apply to women and business. So really, resilience is really about the bounce back. And it's important for business growth and expansion and leadership and revenue, because if you're able to bounce back from setbacks and continuously bounce back from setbacks, that's going to build your patience, it's going to build your character, and it's going to build your muscles so that you are less emotional when it comes to business and the trials and tribulations and the challenges that you may experience in business. So it's super important for you to understand that being resilient is what builds you and builds your character and builds your business. Right? So again, it's about your bounce back and how you continue to move forward despite the various setbacks that you will experience in business and in life. Because don't forget, as a human being, as a woman in business, you go through your personal stuff too. And it definitely affects business. And yes, you definitely want to compartmentalize. You want to separate your business from your personal, but sometimes it's hard. I'm telling you from experience, sometimes it's hard when you just don't feel like doing something, and it does play into your business. But understanding and knowing that you have to separate the two and know when, you know what, it's time for me to get into woman mommy mode, or it's time for me to get into CEO role. But ultimately understanding and knowing that things going to happen, life is going to happen, there's going to be health challenges, all different type of things that you're going to experience, grief, loss, all these things, but they still affect how you move in your day-to-day business. And I speak to a lot of women entrepreneurs, and they go through so many different things, whether it's pregnancy, infertility, depression. Again, I mentioned grief. Mental health plays a big role in entrepreneurship. And that's also the reason why being resilient is key to success. Now, if you are building a business and a sustainable business that you know that you want to last beyond 5 years, resilience is going to have to be the key thing that you focus on. How to bounce back from the setbacks. And ultimately, I have a platform called The Unshakable Woman, being the unshakable CEO. And resilience is just leading up to being unshakable, because constantly learning how to overcome challenges and bounce back, it helps to help you build confidence. You get this swag about you because you know that you are unshakable, because you know why you do what you do, you know who you're doing it for, you know the impact. It builds your confidence so you can stand firm in knowing in what you do, how you do it, who you do it for, and that way no one can shake you or doubt you or make you think twice about what you do and how you do it. You become unshakable because you've been bouncing back. You have not been getting knocked down and staying down. It's about getting up and doing this thing again. All right, what do I need to do? How do I need to shake things up and do it again and continue to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, right? So I love being unshakable. That's just my go-to mantra that was given to me years ago. And I just keep putting it out there because I realized that throughout the 5-6 years I've been in business, maybe business for myself, let me say that, I've experienced different pressures and difficulties, building teams, losing teams, not seeing the revenue, putting money out, not getting what I want, investing, all the different things, not seeing the clients, the ups and downs in business. However, understanding that I had to really learn how to separate that The business, the bank account, those things do not determine my worth and who I am. My success is my success, and it's not tied to the O's in my account. And that's the one thing that helped me to change my mindset to focus more on outcomes and impact versus the wrong things, the failures, the losses. Because when you focus on more of the losses, the challenges, things of that nature, it takes a toll on you, and oftentimes you end up quitting. You end up saying, you know what, I can do something else, and hanging up your business. But if this was a God-given assignment and you know that this is your kingdom business, you're called to people, you're called to serve, you're called to deliver that product or service. If that's what you're destined to do, then you don't have a choice about hanging it up. It's not an option. You have to learn, what does it take for you to be resilient and unshakable so you can keep pressing forward towards that goal, towards that calling, towards that assignment that you've been given. So being resilient is also understanding the need to pivot. And in this past year alone, I've seen so many different conversations from different entrepreneurs. I've had conversations about people pivoting and changing, shifting directions in their business, and understanding and knowing that that's part of being resilient. That is part of the business trajectory. If you're continuously doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same results, even though trends change, buying habits change, economy shifting, then something's wrong. The first step of being resilient is understanding when it's time to pivot. If there's a trend, for example, I'm bridging into something new as well, because I realize that trends are changing. There is a need up in the next 5 or 6 years. There's going to be a huge need. And I'm looking, well, how can I get into position for this need, especially being that I've experienced it and I know how to deliver that service. So that's a shift, and that's a pivot based on the trends in marketing, because I can't continue doing the same thing over and over again. Maternal health is another space that they're shifting a lot of grants and money into. I'm a maternal health nurse by trade. Why not use my expertise to be a subject matter expert, especially in public health, and offer that expertise now that they're really putting money and efforts behind this model, behind this service, behind this population. We got to serve our pregnant people better. So understanding the need to pivot and shift in business is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of you understanding, being self-aware, knowing the trends, knowing your audience, knowing the market, and knowing yourself, what you can offer and how you can position yourself better and be more resilient. Be self-aware so that your business can continue to expand despite the ups and downs and the challenges that you may face. The second thing is set realistic goals and take small steps. Being resilient and being unshakable is really about having a plan, knowing what it is you're going for, what's your time frame, how am I doing this, and how can I break it down so that each week, each day, I am chipping off towards my goals so that you can always see a sense of progress. The key is, once you have a goal, once you have a strategy, you can take action, and you can take imperfect action because you have a plan. Rather than you sitting there trying to figure out and not moving forward because you don't have a plan, and you're wondering why your business is not moving and growing, or you're wondering why you're feeling stuck, you're not getting to the next level, it's because you don't have a strategic plan. Every successful business, every successful entrepreneur entity, they will tell you that they have a plan, a strategic plan, a 12-week plan, 12-week year, whatever it is, but they know by this quarter next year what they're doing, how things are moving, what they need to invest in, what they're spending, what their projections are. So it doesn't matter where you are in business, you should always have a plan. The plan is going to keep you focused. It's going to help you to stay on course, especially when you meet different challenges and setbacks. And of course, it's going to help you to achieve, again, small steps. It keeps you moving forward. You're not sitting there trying to figure out, what am I supposed to be doing? Should I be doing this? No. Consistently make progress through your plan. Your plan, anytime you have to sit down and think about what to do next, Go back to your plan. Go back to your goals. What is it that you have? And if you do not have a strategic plan, then we need to have a conversation, because we need to make sure that you have the focus and the goals and everything in place for you to keep pressing forward. So despite whatever comes at you in business, you can get back on track. So DM me if you need a strategic plan. We need to have that conversation, so that especially as we're heading into the last quarter, we are in the last quarter, you want to make sure that you can identify what it is you're supposed to be doing in this quarter and setting yourself up for the new year for sure. So being resilient is also having a plan, setting realistic goals, and making sure that you are taking those small steps so that you consistently make progress. And then lastly, being resilient, especially women entrepreneurs in business and knowing how to fight through challenges, is building a strong support network. So crucial to have a community of like-minded women, mentors, coaches, advisors, consultants, sisters, peers, colleagues, whatever you want to call it, masterminds. Whether you invest or not, invest, because it definitely brings a different level of experience, a different level of perspectives. But you want to get in a community of women that are doing the thing, positive connections that can point you in the right direction, that can give you some good perspectives. Like I have my girlfriends that I call when I'm on the ledge and I'm like, listen, I'm ready for a job. I'm applying, I'm doing all the things. And listen, ain't nothing wrong with a job. If y'all send the right one to me, believe me, I will take it. So ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying understanding the need to pivot, understanding when you need to do something different, and knowing that you have to build a strong support network that can say, hey, I saw this opportunity, or hey, I saw this RFP. Would you like to be in on, get down on this? So having the right community, a strong support network is so crucial. And this is why I created the Unshakable CEO community. Let me just recap. We talked about 3 ways that as women entrepreneurs can thrive through any challenge. And we talked about what resiliency is and why it's the ability to continuously bounce back, and how that leads to you becoming a more unshakable version of yourself, where you're firm, you're planted firm. No one can doubt you. No one can push you or sway you about your beliefs, what you do, how you deliver your services, your expertise, your skills. You have a confidence and a knowing. You're standing firm in what you do and how you do it. That's what Unshakable is about. But it's a process of continuous bouncing back from different challenges and obstacles that builds that confidence, and that helps you to become that unshakable woman, that unshakable leader, that unshakable CEO. And we talked about why is it so important to be resilient and unshakable in business, because it's tied to your expansion, it's tied to leading your team, it's tied to your revenue, it's tied to navigating challenges. How do you grow? How do you make impact? All of these things. How do you maintain momentum? How do you capitalize on new opportunities? Collaborate with people to expand. Resiliency is the key to that. Understanding when it's time to pivot. Most importantly, when is it time for you to pivot in business, do something a little different, shift how you deliver, what you deliver, who you deliver it to, or even upgrade, right? And then embracing, setting realistic goals with small steps that you can focus on, so you can be consistently build, and not just trying to be perfect, but moving imperfectly, just taking the action that you need to grow and expand your business. And then building a strong support network, a community of people around you, your close circle, your circle of influence. If you're following me, drop that in the chat also, so you can make sure that, people can see this. And then if you're catching this on replay, you'll be able to see it as well. But I want you to be able to understand that resiliency, let me tell you, I had an experience and it really set me back. I'm noticing that there's a lot of other entrepreneurs in this space that are going through things, and understanding how to be self-aware and how to deal with it, and dealing with your clientele while you deal with your personal challenges is hard. But dealing with it is hard when you have to compartmentalize being a mom and being a wife, doing all these things. And then you have a business and you have clients and you have people paying you and you're going through your own thing. How do you manage both? So you got to have the right community. You have to realize what your goals are. You have to learn how to pivot, make some changes, and adapt so that you can still serve yourself, serve your family, and serve your clients. But disappearing or just disconnecting and shutting yourself out from the world is not the answer, because you still have a responsibility to yourself, to your family, and to the people that are paying you. So being resilient is so crucial in understanding how to continue and grow and navigating the challenges of entrepreneurship. You see a lot of stories on Instagram. You see all the glory, but you don't know the story behind. You don't know all the different challenges that people undergo or people face when it comes to building a business. So you think it's easy. I'm just going to start this business and make a whole lot of money and I'm going to be on a yacht. It doesn't work like that. You just see you see the glory, but you don't know the story, the trials and tribulations. Sometimes it's not even that person's first business. It's probably their third business that they've attempted, and it took off because they finally took all the lessons, applied it, and took off. So being unshakable, be resilient. May be experiencing in business, you need some advisory consulting. You need strategic planning. You need to put a plan in place for this next quarter or into the new year, or you feel like something isn't right. You need some support so that you can break through that plateau you may be experiencing, or you just want to do it better. You want to create more structure around what you already have, more systems in place so that it can support your expansion. Then send me a DM, message me the word unshakable. Let's hop on a call, 15-minute strategy call. I can share some resources with you, and we can talk about how I can support you in building the resilience around how you are growing and expanding in your business today. So again, I'm Nerissa, Malloy, business transformation and growth strategist, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm glad that you are here as well. Make sure you share this broadcast, tag some entrepreneurs